out how to share my screen.
I'll share your screen.
Okay.
Oh, you'll have to do it.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to do it.
Did you give her permission, Lori?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Did you give her permission to share screen?
Yes.
No, probably not.
Yeah, no, I do. It automatically does for me. So just on the bottom where the little green
Okay,
button,
there we go. I got it.
and then click on it.
Okay. You guys should be seeing this. There we go.
Yep.
Okay. And I closed down the Zoom meeting, so if there's questions, someone else will have to ask them or tell me because I can't see that anymore.
I'm gonna help you with that.
So Lori, you're going to record?
Okay.
I'm recording right now.
Are you sure it didn't say it was being
Okay, we're all
recorded?
ready.
I don't have a recorder. I just said it out loud that I'm recording.
Okay.
Yep, we're ready when you are.
Okay. So this is a really big topic. I was asked to talk about holistic veterinary medicine and basically an introduction into that. And so what we decided was to basically talk about all of the modalities that holistic veterinarians use, how you can have a holistic veterinarian be part of your team, and how to find a holistic veterinarian to work with you. So just a couple things. Most of you already know me. I'm Dr. Andrea Carlson. I'm the owner and veterinarian. Oops, hold on, something decided to go on its own. There we go. I'm the owner and veterinarian at South Lake Animal Hospital in Maryville, Indiana. I'm also a breeder of Bernese Mountain Dogs under the kennel name Singing Sands. I've been a veterinarian for 20 years. And I've owned the practice for 5 and been an integrative or holistic veterinarian basically for those last 5. You'll see a bunch of initials after my name. The main thing with that is that in vet school, we are taught traditional medicine, and anything that I learned holistic, I learned after vet school. And so I was certified in additional things. And so just a brief, I'm going to tell you what they are because it'll help through the rest of the lecture. So BS is just a Bachelor in Science, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, Certified Veterinary Traditional Chinese Veterinary Medicine Practitioner, Certified Veterinary Acupuncturist, Certified Veterinary Food Therapist, Certified Veterinary Chinese Herbalist, Certified Veterinary Tweenwa Practitioner, Certified TCVM Palliative End of Life Practitioner, and Certified Veterinary Medical Manipulation Practitioner, which is a chiropractor for animals only. That is my email address and my clinic website. And so away we go. First thing we want to talk about is what is holistic medicine. And it is holistic with an H, not a WH. As the flyer went out, but it does basically mean the same thing. So holistic medicine looks at the whole animal. We look at everything. We try to get to the root of the problem rather than just putting a Band-Aid on things. Holistic medicine has also been called alternative or complementary, integrative or Eastern. It can be used for acute or chronic diseases. It has very little to no side effects. It's sometimes used as a last hope for a patient, and there could be lack of conventional treatment. And I love this quote. It says, alternative medicine. Why is it called alternative medicine when it's the original medicine that humans have been using for thousands of years? So modern day, we're just starting to go back to and looking at all the ways that we used to medically treat humans and animals, and finding that those ways may actually be a little bit better. And I'm not dissing conventional medicine. Obviously, there's breakthroughs in science and vaccines and things like that that save lives every day, but there's a lot of things that we can control holistically or prevent holistically without a lot of the side effects of conventional medicine. So why would you choose holistic medicine over conventional medicine? One of the main things that I see would be chronic diseases such as the allergies, organ failure, orthopedic issues. So give me just a second, let me get rid of the dog. Okay, sorry. So chronic diseases, allergies, organ failure, like kidney failure, liver failure, orthopedic issues like cruciate ruptures. A lot of people come to me for treatment of a cruciate rupture without surgery. We treat cancer, palliative care, or basically end of life care. So keeping the vet comfortable until it's time to let go. Lots of endocrine diseases, especially Cushing's disease. We treat a lot of that. We do treatment for diseases that aren't responding to conventional treatment. I had a dog that was at Purdue, was being treated for immune-mediated hemolytic anemia. They told her to put the dog to sleep. Her hematocrit percentage of red blood cells was 12%, should have been 40. She was a patient of mine. Fortunately, she called before she put the pet to sleep. I had her bring the pet in, and we are 6 months. The dog is thriving. Not just surviving, thriving. We treated the IMHA. We used a combination of Chinese herbs and ozone therapy, and that dog is still doing very, very well and has not had any relapses. Holistic medicine can also help us avoid side effects. One of the big things we see would be steroids. Steroids like prednisolone can cause suppression of the immune system. It can also cause elevated liver enzymes, make the dog drink more, pee more, urinate more, eat more, bunch of side effects from steroids. There are also diseases that don't really have a conventional treatment. And the first one that comes to mind would be laryngeal paralysis. A lot of times people will just try supportive care, giving them meds to help them breathe. Whereas with laryngeal paralysis, if we catch that early enough, we can use electrical acupuncture to re-stimulate those nerves, and we can really delay the onset of LARPAR and the symptoms where they're coughing a lot and breathing heavy. So holistic medicine can be used with conventional medicine to treat a lot of different things. There are a ton of holistic therapies. We're going to go through pretty much all of them that I could find. Some of them I will talk to you a lot more about because I know them. Others I will just give you like a brief introduction. So some of the holistic therapies we're going to talk about will be acupuncture, the difference between Chinese herbs, Ayurvedic herbs, Western herbs, the veterinary spinal manipulation, which is the chiropractic, massage, homeopathy, ozone therapy, therapeutic laser, supplements, nutrition, aromatherapy, and a ton of others. Any questions? Am I going too fast?
I don't have any questions in the chat box.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is acupuncture. Acupuncture is one of the biggest known holistic modalities. What acupuncture does, or what it is using tiny, tiny needles that are inserted in specific locations on a pet's body. And those locations are connected to internal organs. They're also heavy areas of vessels and lymph and nerve tissue. And so these acupuncture points allow us to move chi and blood. And chi is basically our life force. It's our energy. Everything that's alive has chi. So a tree has chi. I have chi. My desk doesn't have chi. There's no life in my desk, but the tree that it came from, there was. So chi is just our life force. And when chi does not move and it gets stagnant, that's when we get pain and organ dysfunction and problems with our body. And so acupuncture is meant to rebalance and re-get the flow of chi going. Acupuncture can be used for pain relief. It can stimulate the nervous system. It can bring down a fever, boost the immune system, regulate the GI tract, decrease inflammation, lower your blood pressure, decrease stress, help prevent aging, enhance performance, completely legally, and improve microcirculation. And this is a picture. This patient is an English setter. He has dry needles in, which are the little needles. There. I don't know if I might not be able to show you pointer. I'm not that good with the Zoom yet. But he has needles in him, and right in the center of his back, you'll see 2 pink needles with a red line coming off of it. And that is an electrical acupuncture. So there's acupuncture needles in there, and there's an electrical stimulation to them. And the stimulation is very, very minor. It would be like a little buzzing. It doesn't electrocute the animal. It's not painful. It's actually tolerated very, very well. This patient has the needles. Those needles in the middle of his back are at bladder 23, and that's just a specific acupuncture point. There are 350 acupuncture points that we know of in dogs and cats. Most acupuncturists are trained to know 150. Acupuncture points tend to be like hills and valleys. And so those points in the mid back there are actually 2 little depressions located next to the spinal cord and the vertebral column. And that's bladder 23. And bladder 23 is associated with the kidney organ. And the kidney organ is also in charge of orthopedic issues, so like arthritis. And so that is what that dog is getting acupuncture for. He has a weak hind end. He has some arthritis in his hips. And he gets acupuncture used to every week, but now he's down to like every 3 months. I will keep going. If there's any questions, Lori, just interrupt me and I'm happy to answer them.
I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. The next topic is herbal medicine, another big one. There's 3 different schools of herbal medicine. The one is Ayurvedic. Sorry, I keep trying on that one. That one is more like Indian Hindu. There's Chinese herbal medicine, and then Western herbal medicine, which would be more of an Americanized herbal medicine. All herbal medicine comes from plants. They do use some animal parts and some minerals, some shells and things like that, but mostly plants. There are little to no side effects. They are very, very safe. The only side effects I've ever seen is occasionally we'll get some soft stool when we first start on an herb. The only other side effect would be using the wrong herb for a patient because the herbs are chosen based on the patient and the pattern and not the disease, especially in Chinese medicine. And so in Chinese medicine, if I had a 12-year-old Bernese Mountain Dog with diarrhea, and I had a 12-month-old Bernese Mountain Dog with diarrhea, they would have different herbs that they would be given. They wouldn't just be given Imodium for diarrhea because they would be totally different. The 12-year-old Berner would be more likely to have a deficient pattern and would need herbs that would help tonify or support the organ, whereas the younger Berner would probably have an excess diarrhea, maybe because he ate something he shouldn't have, or got into the garbage, things like that. So he's going to have an excess, and usually he's going to have inflammation and heat, and the herb for him would be to cool that and to calm it down. So Chinese herbs are, the only reason they wouldn't be safe is if you were using the wrong herb. Yes? Okay. And so that's another reason with, you don't want to just, just because, Mary's getting this herb for her dog with diarrhea does not mean that Janet should have that same herb for her dog. And so you really should be working with a veterinarian to use herbs. Some of the herbs can be used with conventional medicine. So one example would be if you have a dog that's arthritic and is on Rimadyl for pain control and they're still painful, we can add a Chinese herbal formula called Body Sore in, which can then also help with pain, but it won't interact with the Rimadyl. And the really cool thing about the Body Sore is it doesn't cause any adverse effects on the liver. So it's very good to be able to use long term. In herbal medicine, we tend to use the whole plant versus a component, and I put CBD there as an example. CBD is best used when you use the whole hemp plant versus just taking the CBD component from the hemp plant. There are terpenes and CBM and CVA and CV, there's 300 of them, I believe, different components. And so when you're using CBD, we always recommend to use a full spectrum, which is basically meaning you're using the whole plant. Herbal medicine comes in a wide variety of forms, tablets, capsules, powders, liquid, herbal teas, ointments. I think probably the biggest thing I have with herbal medicine is getting it into the patients. Sometimes they don't want to eat it, and so we have to figure out different ways to get the herbs in, but we've got lots of tricks with that. So that's a different topic as well. I just want to go back. Western herbal medicine tends to be very much like conventional medicine. So they would say, let's get St. John's wort, and we use just the St. John's wort, and that will treat anxiety or stress. In Chinese medicine, we would use a formula that had multiple different herbs in there that were balanced. So Western medicine is more treating the herb to treat a symptom. Chinese medicine tries to get to the root of the problem, and the Ayurvedic uses medicine along with spirituality to heal. This is a little quiz for you. This is me and one of my technicians. This is my herbal cabinet, and that goes all the way around that corner. So my herbal cabinet is 5 times the size of my conventional drug cabinet. And does anybody know what plant this is? What herb this is? Nope.
I don't have any guesses.
This is okay. This is a ginseng plant. So it's the ginseng root. And its job is to replenish qi or energy. It can help boost the immune system. It is antioxidant. And this herb would be in, for example, in a Chinese herbal formula, it would be mixed in with other herbs, and the formula would be called guipitang. And we use this to nourish blood, especially for diseases like anemia. Any questions?
Sharon got it.
Okay. Veterinary spinal, go ahead.
No, Sharon made the guess. Yep.
Oh, good. So veterinary spinal manipulation is also called chiro. We have to say veterinary spinal manipulation because chiropractic is actually a legal term for human chiropractors. A lot of people will use it interchangeably, and I will probably say chiro through this, but for completeness sake, we're called veterinary spinal manipulation practitioners. This is a picture of me adjusting the spine. This dog is a 3-legged dog. He had his front leg amputated, and he gets chiro adjustments every 3 months in order to keep him balanced. The biggest thing we see with dogs with 3 legs is that we tend to get degenerative changes, and that left front foot will start turning in to try to support his body. And so what we're doing with chiropractic care is relieving or getting rid of restrictions in mobility of the spine. And so when there's restrictions in the spine, we get restrictions with our nervous system. It can't communicate. The nerves can't communicate to the brain. Our blood doesn't flow properly. Our muscles get tight. It can help improve immune function and also, again, circulation. So we don't call it, it's not that something is out of place. It's more that the movement is restricted. Chiropractic care can be done for any patient. I even do my little puppies before they go home at 7 weeks of age, after they've come out, been free whelped and gone through the chute that way. They can have lots of things that are restricted. And so I do an adjustment on all of them, make sure that they're totally movable, everything's where it should be before they go out into the world. If you're doing just maintenance chiropractic, I usually do every 3 months. If you have a dog that you're heavily competing in agility or conformation or drafting, those dogs I would definitely do probably monthly, every couple weeks. And you do want to, if you do a chiropractic adjustment, you want to do it at least 2 days before competing, and then it can be done right after is fine. Just one more thing on chiropractic adjustment. It is called, what we do is an HVLA. So it's a high velocity, low amplitude. And so as you can see, I get my hand in position. I'm not going to jab my hand into that dog's back. It's a very, very tiny movement, and you may not even see the practitioner move. What you'll probably see is that my bicep will flex and my hand will move about 1 millimeter, and that is an adjustment. Massage is another holistic modality. I love massage. Massage is something that anybody can do. It doesn't have to be a veterinarian. It can help build your relationship with your pet. It can help them relieve pain, improve circulation of blood and lymph. It can help with myofascial release. It can decrease stress, eliminate toxins, help with sleep, immune function, increase energy, improve flexibility. Tuinhua is what I'm certified in. That is a Chinese massage. Tuinhua uses massage techniques in acupuncture points, basically to do acupressure, or basically massage in an acupuncture point to help with acupuncture. So sometimes people can't do acupuncture every day or every week. And so I will show them some Tuinhua massages that they can do in specific acupuncture points that they can do at home in between their sessions. We still okay?
Yes, everything looks good.
Okay, my lap just said poor signals. I just want to make sure we were still connected.
Yep.
Okay. Homeopathy is another holistic treatment. I am not trained in this. I don't know that I will be, mainly because it's completely different from everything else that I do. So homeopathy is using a very small amount of a diluted remedy, is what it's called, to treat a problem. And so the remedy can be from plants, minerals, drugs, viruses, bacteria, animals, and it's a substance that could cause disease, but it is diluted into such a micro amount. It's basically just the energetic property of that disease that's left in the remedy. It can come in sugar pellets, liquid, cream, tablets. It can come in all sorts of forms. There are also nosodes, which are basically homeopathic vaccines. So it's giving an animal vaccines homeopathically as a nosode. So it's a lot safer. Their antibody level will never, it won't show up as an antibody, but it can protect them. And I am learning that right now, is learning basically homovaccinology, I think it's called. So using nosodes or homeopathy to vaccinate. They are similar in that they are meant to treat the patient and not just a disease or a symptom. And then in this picture, you'll see there's Apis mellifica. That is a homeopathic remedy that is used for swollen, itchy reactions. And does anybody know what Apis mellifica is? No? Okay. That is actually the European honeybee. So that homeopathic remedy takes the sting from a European honeybee and it's diluted down, basically down to such a tiny amount that it doesn't cause a reaction, but it does actually treat the reaction. So it goes on the principle of like treats like. Ozone therapy, this is another one of my favorites. I'm trained through O3 Vets, or in ozone. Ozone is O3, so 3 molecules of oxygen compared to 2 molecules of oxygen, which is what we breathe. People think of ozone and they think it's toxic. It's not that it's toxic, it's that O3 is not good for us to breathe in. When we breathe, we need to breathe O2. What ozone does is it adds activated oxygen to the body, and it can increase that oxygen, which can increase energy in the body at the cellular level and allow it to heal. It can be used topically. It can be given as sub-Q injections. It can be inhaled. If we inhale it, we do bubble it through an oil first. So we usually bubble it through olive oil, and then it can be inhaled. It can be insufflated into the ear, rectal gas into the, can be injected. It's just a little catheter that goes in, and it can also be injected into the joint or bloodstream. A lot of times the ozone therapy, we're using it to treat autoimmune diseases, infections, cancer, non-healing wounds. Ozone therapy has been around since 1785. I do want to give you another case of, for example, on the ozone. We have a patient named Zeus. He's a 12-year-old Mastiff mix. He presented to us basically like, is there anything you can do for him? He's dying. He has a huge mass in his spleen, and he has multiple nodules in his lungs. So he barely has any normal tissue in his body. Lymphoma has spread through everywhere. We started major ozone on him, and major ozone is we draw blood from his body, and that's one of that picture there. We drew blood from his body, we ozonate it, and then we run that blood through a ultraviolet system, and then we inject the blood back into the dog. And we do that weekly for this dog. We are now 12 weeks with treatment, and the owner has actually called us and said, you got to stop doing the ozone. He's running around, he's barking, he's playing, he's keeping us up all night, he's chasing balls. So he is also on Chinese herbs, and we did have to start a little bit of steroid for him to help with the breathing, but without the ozone, he would have been put to sleep 12 weeks ago. The one picture, that's a little kitty, that's my kitty, his name's Bomb. He had a tumor in his ear that kept draining nasty infection. And so we tried the ozone with him. It worked for a little while. And it came down to either putting him to sleep or attempting to remove his ear canal. And so I did my third only ever total ear canal ablation. So I took his entire ear canal out, and he lives at my house now, and he is totally happy and does not have any more issues. Everything is cleared up. And then the I Love Ozone little shepherd boy there, that's the 3-legged boy that you saw in the other picture. Laser therapy, or low-level light therapy, or also called photobiomodulation. So laser therapy provides light energy to the cells, and the light energy can, again, do all the same similar things: improve circulation, help the cell heal, release endorphins to fight pain, decrease inflammation, encourage growth of new healthy tissue. So we use a Thor laser. That's one of the best ones. I love it. There are also like canine laser and all sorts of other ones, but this one is used in the medical field. We use ours primarily to treat pain, ear infections, corneal ulcers, wounds, cruciate ruptures, arthritis, IVDD, any kind of swelling. We use it after surgery on every patient, after every dental, to help heal. And that's one of my favorite things. And that's actually my technician. Well, she's not even a technician. She's just a veterinary assistant. She's 17. When we got the laser therapy in, she just took to it. And so she's basically our laser expert. So as you can see, it's not a complicated thing. It's just something that we had to train her how to do. And now she loves doing it. Supplements are another big category in holistic medicine. My staff jokingly calls me Dr. Supplement Carlson. because any patient that goes home is guaranteed to be on at least one or two, but probably more supplements when we see them. So these are a few of my favorite supplements. I love probiotic for everyone. This is a sample or example of kefir. Kefir is raw fermented cow's milk. It's like amped up yogurt. You could also use raw goat milk. You could use Answer's fermented fish stock. You could use sauerkraut. Anything that's fermented, you could use a probiotic powder or a tablet. I prefer whole foods, but you could certainly just use a probiotic supplement. And I like probiotics for everyone. 90% of our immune system is in our gut. And so if we feed our gut bacteria, our microbiome, and that is strong, then we have a much better immune system. We're much better able to fight off infection and disease. The next supplement that I like is fish oil. That one just happens to be Dr. Harvey's. I like to rotate my supplements. So if they were eating this one, they would eat it till it was gone. And then I would switch and might go to MCT oil, or I might go to coconut oil or sardine oil. But fish oil is going to provide omega fatty acids. And omega fatty acids help support the brain, the heart, the skin, the hair coat, decreases inflammation, and can help prevent inflammatory diseases like cancer and arthritis. And then speaking of arthritis, my next supplement that I like is a joint supplement. That is a green-lip muscle up at the top, and then that's the green-lip muscle powder. I really like this product for joint supplement. It has a lot of backed research, proven research that it works. We're not actually sure that glucosamine works in dogs. We're not sure how much they absorb. So Glycoflex, Vetriflex, Dasiquin, maybe not Dasiquin, that may be different. But a lot of the products are glucosamine, MSM, chondroitin. We really don't know how well dogs absorb those products. And so I'm a big fan of the green lip muscle powder for joint support. And the other thing is the green lip muscle powder can really help make sperm for those intact boys. The next topic would be aromatherapy, and that's basically essential oils being used as a medical treatment. It is taking the aromatic plant extracts and using them for a wide variety of things, whether it's to decrease stress, deal with pain, help with the stomach and digestion. My only thing with this is please make sure you use high quality essential oils. You can't just go to Walmart or Walgreens and get the $4 bottle of lavender and put it all over your dog. You will probably kill them. So there is an essential oil company that is made just for animals. It's called Animal EO. I know a lot of people don't like the pyramid system of Young Living or doTERRA, but they are high quality oils. And I'm sure there are others out there. There is a veterinary aromatherapy society. You can go to their website and check out essential oils that they recommend, but definitely use high quality. I just wanted to give you an example of an essential oil, which would be frankincense. Frankincense is an essential oil. It was also used in Jesus's time. That's one of the gifts that the three wise men brought. And frankincense is also called boswellia. And boswellia or frankincense decreases inflammation and can help with pain. And so a lot of times I can use a frankincense essential oil on, say, arthritic knees or arthritic hips, and I will put just a little drop of that on our hand, and then we rub that into their joints. I did put in a recipe here for hot spots for you, and I'll keep it here just so you can copy it. I will try to get you guys the slides. Maybe Lori can help me do that. But basically for this recipe, it's 10 drops of lavender, 10 drops of frankincense, 10 drops of myrrh, another gift that was brought to Jesus, 10 drops of copaiba, 2 teaspoons of colloidal silver, and you mix it in a glass sprayer bottle. Essential oils do best in glass. And you top it off with pure aloe vera juice, shake it well, and then spray it on the hot spot. So the frankincense and the copaiba are going to decrease inflammation. The colloidal silver is antibacterial. The myrrh is an astringent or drying agent. The lavender does all the things those things do, plus it has some pain control and also relaxes. And then the aloe vera is cooling. Did everybody get that, or do I need to stay here longer? Wait just a second.
They could take a
Okay.
picture of it with their phone too, if they've got a phone that they can take pictures with, or a screenshot.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Nutrition. So I could spend 12 hours talking about nutrition. I'm very passionate about nutrition.
You guys, ones of us are on our phones and can't do screenshots. We're not seeing what you see. Can you maybe share it with the membership or put it in the next Matterhorn? That would be great.
I can-
Yes, I will try to, I will work with Laura if I can get my slides to her, and we can maybe put that as a file on the website, or we can't share the whole thing because there's 34 different pictures, so.
I can put that recipe in the Matterhorn. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so back to nutrition. So holistic vets, we feel that pets should eat a species appropriate, moisture rich, real food diet. And so basically what that means is that we should feed like our grandparents used to feed, and the dogs thrived, they survived, they didn't die of cancer at 4, they didn't die of diabetes at 7, they were living to be 14, 15, 20. And so that is my biggest thing with nutrition, is that kibble was never meant to be, dry kibble was never meant to be the mainstay of a dog's diet. It was created out of convenience during the Industrial Revolution. And so I really, those are 2 links, and we can definitely put those links or those handouts into the Matterhorn for you. One talks about how to choose a correct diet for your dog and cat, and then the other one talks about all the human foods or fresh whole foods that they can eat. And so on the screen is a picture of a bowl with kibble, and there's some yummy, delicious things that are added to it. So if you need to feed kibble for whatever reason, you can add canned sardines and water. You can add the fish oil that we talked about, coconut oil, blueberries, broccoli, kefir, goat milk, eggs. I mean, there's so many things that if we just add a little bit to our dog's diet, I would say take 25% of the kibble out and add 25% fresh whole foods. And every bite of food that your dog takes that isn't a dry, hard kibble is going to be so much better for them. I have been able to treat dogs that have had urinary incontinence for years that were eating kibble diets, or had crystals or bladder stones eating their prescription kibble diets, and we get them on a moisture-rich food, and they stop leaking urine, they stop forming crystals just by eating a correct diet. And what I equate kibble to for people, kibble is, to us, is like us eating Lucky Charms without any milk, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You are going to become deficient. It doesn't even matter if it's total and it has all those vitamins and minerals in it. You are still missing a bunch of ingredients that you're not getting in kibble. So I'll get off my soapbox off of that. Any questions on nutrition?
I don't see any questions here, Andrea.
Okay. I included rehab just mainly because a lot of the modalities that rehab vets use are the same modalities that holistic vets use, and you'll see the same things on there. Massage, ultrasound, laser, acupuncture, all sorts of, basically all that stuff. And basically we use all the same things. Rehab, a lot of the training for rehab is therapeutic exercises and learning which exercises a dog or cat can do to regain strength or rebuild muscle or repair a bad joint. And I am currently enrolled to be certified in a year, but I'm enrolled in it right now. Okay, another holistic modality is muscle testing, or NATE, and it's non-boundary PROD's allergy elimination technique. There are only a few veterinarians that are certified in this and that can do this. It's basically a combination of energetic therapy, acupuncture, allergens treatment. I'll kind of give you an example of what happens. And so the vial, in a vial would be water and basically the energetic remnants of, say, chocolate. And well, that's a bad example. We'll go with it. So if there's the energetic property of chocolate in this vial, you would put your hand on your pet and you would put your other hand out and it would be held out straight. And the practitioner would touch the chocolate vial to the pet and then use her other hand to try to push your hand down, and you're supposed to resist the pushing. If she is able to push your hand down, then that means whatever is in that vial needs to be eliminated from your pet's diet. And so, when I first learned about this, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of janky. Like, I don't know that I believe that. But I did have it tested on me. I had it, someone tried it on me, and I can definitely see that there is some validity to it, but it does have to be done by a experienced, trained physician. It's not just something that, I could just go do on someone.
Andrea, we have a question here about that. Is that for tick-borne disease testing? Is that what you do for tick-borne diseases?
There is some muscle testing that can be done for that, but the technique that I just talked about is primarily like allergens. So it would be for people that have allergies, digestive issues, things like that. There is a different testing, muscle testing for Lyme disease, but I don't know that. Sorry.
Thank you.
Reiki is another holistic treatment. This can be done by a lay person, and that doesn't have to be a veterinarian. You do have to be trained on this as well. And it's basically using energy work again and channeling the energy in a pet to help them heal, whether they're having an emotional problem and then that's causing a physical problem. But I have had it done. It is amazing. When I had it done, it's hard to explain, but it was almost like I was seeing visions, like I was seeing things as she was working on me. And as she was working on me, we were clearing things, like she would see black and I would see something and then we would clear it. And so Reiki can be very, very powerful, very, very emotional. But it can really help with a lot of emotional issues. In pets, we would use it, if they lost their owner or they lost their companion, or say you had a mama dog that lost her puppy. The Reiki can be used to help them reset their emotional well-being. Stem cell therapy. You could also put platelet-rich plasma, things like that is an emerging modality. It basically uses stem cells from the bone marrow, the umbilical cord, or fat. So basically, if we had a dog that had a cruciate rupture, we would take some of the fat from their abdomen, and it would be processed and into a specific way. And then it would be injected into the knee of a dog to help them heal their cruciate rupture. That can be very expensive, obviously, because it is a surgical procedure to get the stem cells. And then most of the time, they do need to be sedated when they get their injections. But this is primarily used for bones, joints, tendons, ligaments, spinal cord, and then also dry eye and stomatitis in dogs. Is there a question?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody should be muted.
Okay, I just hear, okay, sometimes I hear stuff and I just don't know if it's a question. The next thing to talk about would be prolotherapy. So prolotherapy is using a specific solution injected, again, usually into the knee to help with tendon and ligaments, cruciate ruptures, is dextrose, vitamin B12, procaine, which is a topical anesthetic, And then usually people will put homeopathic remedies in there like Zeal or Tramiel, and it will stimulate collagen growth, which can help strengthen the tendon and ligament. I do this, but we also use this with our ozone. So we'd use the same solution, except that solution would be ozonated. This injection does tend to be painful because you're injecting it right into the joint. In this picture, she's doing it in the hip joint. So they do have to be sedated for the injection, and it can take a couple injections weeks apart for that to heal as well. PEMF is pulse electromagnetic field therapy. This is basically electrical fields that are used. The most notorious one that people know about is the Assisi loop, and that's what the picture is here, is the Assisi loop. And it can help with inflammation and pain. And there's also a beamer mat, similar to an Assisi loop. There's also something called a Rife machine. That one tends to be higher and stronger. And that one's mainly used to get rid of pathogens. And I know a lot of people use the Rife machine when we have Lyme disease, especially in humans that have chronic Lyme problems. They'll use a Rife machine to help get rid of the Lyme disease. Osteopathy, this one I don't know a whole lot about, but basically it's using, it's almost like chiropractic or massage, but connecting the brain to the rest of the spinal cord and the rest of the muscles. And it's a very gentle procedure, mainly works on the motor dysfunction rather than the bony restriction in chiro. Craniosacral is another modality that can be used. Craniosacral is basically feeling the flow of the cerebral spinal fluid. So it's similar to the animal's heartbeat and the blood flow. The brain pumps the cerebral spinal fluid throughout the body in a rhythmic pattern, and that can be off. I have done some training on this. When we feel for the craniosacral therapy, when we're doing that, we're putting our hand on the, say, the rump of a dog, like the pressure of a nickel. So I'm very, very, very gently pressing, and I can feel that flow. And if it's erratic, I can channel my energy into the dog to get it to flow back the way it's supposed to, so that it's more even and that there's a an ebb and flow rather than a, you know, like a tsunami kind of thing. Just a fun fact, the dog's skull has 26 different bones that are fused together to form the cranium. And it's usually used to treat injuries, behavior issues, training problems, seizures. It basically, again, just to rebalance the body. Kinesiology is a study of movement. Kinesiology taping is using a tape that is applied in a specific pattern, in a specific way to a joint, which can help with movement. You'll see a lot of human athletes that have kinesiology tape on them, and it will help support, like if they put it around their knee, it'll help support the knee. In fact, I think I see a lot of confirmation people running around the ring with a kinesiology tape on their knee. It supports their knee, gives them a little bit more support beyond just their muscles and joints. It also will, because it's sticky, it will pull up on the skin and it will release the myofascial plane, which can get adhesions and cause restrictions. And so if we release the myofascial plane, we get increased blood and lymph flow, and then therefore decreased pain and inflammation. There's therapeutic ultrasound. So there's ultrasound, which can be done to determine, you know, if a dog is pregnant or what the liver looks like or the heart looks like. Therapeutic ultrasound is using high frequency sound waves that heat the soft tissues gently, and it increases blood flow and then therefore decreases pain and increases function. And as you can see, we're saying a lot of the same things. A lot of these therapies do the same things. Most of disease in our body is due to inflammation, lack of oxygen, lack of energy. And so a lot of holistic medicine is trying to restore that balance and get us back to where we're supposed to be. Bach flowers are another another holistic modality. It is very similar to homeopathic remedies. These have a flower essence, but these are mainly, Bach flowers are mainly used to treat emotional problems, which then lead to physical conditions. So Bach flowers would be used for hyperactive dogs, fearful dogs, trip to the vet, and on the screen is the rescue remedy. That one is actually a combination of 5 different homeopathic remedies that is used in an emergency situation when you might not know what the animal is truly feeling. Is it fearful? Is it having anxiety? Is it worried? Is it aggressive? Like, what is the problem? You don't need to know with the rescue remedy because it has a combination of all of that in there to treat that. Glandular therapy is basically using the organs from an animal. Usually we use a food animal like a cow or pig or sheep to replace the organs in our pets or ourselves body. And the biggest example that I would use is that when your pet is spayed or neutered, we are removing their ovaries and testes, and that disrupts our endocrine system. Our endocrine system is a system, and when you take out the ovaries and the estrogen and all the hormones that go with them, that can lead to other imbalances of other hormones such as Cushing's disease or Addison's disease, which are from the adrenal gland. One of my favorite glandular companies is Standard Process. They use whole foods, so they will use whole food plants, and then they will use extracts from organs. So they'll use beef liver or beef thymus, beef ovaries, and I recommend that once the animal is spayed or neutered, and we don't recommend spaying or neutering until the animal is 2 to 5 years of age when they are fully grown. And then after they're spayed or neutered at 2 to 5 years of age, then I usually put them on a Standard Process glandular support. Most of the time it'll just be whole body. Sometimes I will use like Orchex, which is for the testicle. So it just depends on the patient. But I would say there's not a patient in the world that couldn't benefit from organ supplementation. Okay, so resources for you guys. Again, we can put these in the Matterhorn for sure. You can take a picture. So places that you can find holistic vets. The first one is Chi University. That's where I studied. That is a university in Florida. The founder is Dr. Shea. He is from China. He's a 3rd generation Chinese veterinarian. And so he came to America and brought all of his Chinese veterinary medicine knowledge with him and has been training all of us American veterinarians along with, it's in Costa Rica, it's in Spain. He has branches throughout the world, basically teaching Chinese medicine to veterinarians. And there is a vet finder on that website. It's www.tcvm.net. The next one is the International Veterinary Acupuncture Society, www.ivas.org/vets. The American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association does also have a Find a Holistic Veterinarian page. Just be careful with that. Some people will claim that they're holistic, but they aren't really. Like, you'll call them and they'll tell you that your dog needs 300 vaccines and should be eating science diet kibble, then they are not truly a holistic veterinarian. The CIVT is the College of Integrative Vet Therapy. That one is pretty cool. They do have some lay people classes, so classes for regular people, people that aren't veterinarians or veterinary technicians. You can take some nutrition classes and some basic herbal classes just to learn more. And that is www.civtedu.org. There is a holistic veterinarian in downtown Chicago. She is awesome. It's Healing Tales. Her website is healingtaleschicago.com. I have met her and worked with her, and she is awesome. She also does a lot of rehab. She is rehab certified as well. So if you need post-op or post-op treatment for rehab, she would be a great place to go. Her name is Dr. Ari, I think it's Horndobler. That's why she usually goes by her first name. There's my clinic. It's maryvillevets.com. My phone number and email address there. We are about an hour into Northwest Indiana off of I-65. I do holistic consults as well, telemedicine consults. So if your dog has a diagnosis and you're looking for a holistic vet to help you with treatment and herbs and options, we can do consultations without seeing your pet, which has been helpful with COVID because some people can't get in. And holistic vets are not, there aren't a ton of us around. And so we can do consultations, and most other holistic vets will do consultations as well. I don't know if you guys are getting bored. I guess I have 3 minutes. I'll go through things real quick. This is just traditional Chinese veterinary medicine, and these are the main things that that people need to know in order to know TCVM. One is the 5 elements, everything is related to 5 elements: fire, water, metal, earth, and wood. We always strive for a balance between yin and yang. Zhang Fu are what they call the organs, so like the heart and the spleen. The 5 treasures are the things that flow around our body, like blood, qi, lymph. Energetic properties of food, we're going to talk about on the next slide. Tongue and pulse is a big thing in Chinese medicine. We can, just by knowing history and looking at your dog's tongue and feeling their pulses, we can come up with a diagnosis. I can tell you that things are wrong with an animal just by looking at their tongue. So for example, a lot of our burners, when we see them, they have big red tongues, and that's because burners are hot. They tend to run hot, they're always hot, and their tongue is red, and that is a sign of them being hot internally. So this is some energetic properties of food in TCVM. And so one of the things I just wanted to point out, I do have a handout of this that we can include in the next Matterhorn. But one of the things I want to point out is that conventional vets, you'll bring a dog with allergies and they'll put your dog on a novel diet, a protein that your dog hasn't had before. And usually they choose lamb. And if you see that on the food list, lamb is one of the hottest foods there is. Lamb energetically in and of itself is hot. And then we make it into kibble. Kibble is made into kibble by being hot and dry. So we take hot lamb and make it even hotter and give it to the hot dog with allergies, and they get worse instead of better. So that's just an example of kind of knowing the energetic properties. The energetic properties can be different between Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic. I know them by Chinese, and these are just the things, it's just been taught from years and years of word of mouth. So a lamb in Chinese medicine is hot because it has this big wool coat. And it just, if you think about it, right now it's freezing. We would all want to eat lamb stew or a hot beef or hot chicken soup. But in the summer, we're going to want to eat watermelon. And when they say cool as a cucumber, cucumbers are cooling. So in the summer, we eat cucumber and watermelon because they naturally make us feel cooler. In the winter, we eat lamb stew and chicken soup because it naturally warms us up. This is just a little quiz. There's a link here. You can write that down. It's called learnthefiveelements.com /5 elements quiz. You can take the quiz and learn what element you are. And then I posted my holistic form that we use for my patients. Basically, you're going to want to pick the one box that your pet best fits into. They're going to have characteristics in every box, but one box is going to stand out. And I'll just give you an example. So my Rio dog, Rio is my girl that just had a litter, goodness gracious, of eight puppies. She got reserve winner's bitch at Wisconsin back to back. But anyway, She's also a dock diver. She is a fire. She talks a lot. Like when she comes out of her cage, she comes home, she barks, she lets me know she's here. She bumps my elbow for attention. She has to get all the attention right at first. And so she's a little firecracker. My other dog, Isla, she's a little bit more on the metal side. She likes to go to bed right when it's bedtime. She loves to be with me, but she wants everything done in the right way. You know, we eat at 6:30 or she gets mad. She's aloof with strangers, so she's not going to run out and greet people. She's going to stand back and kind of wait and see, whereas Rio would be the first one there to say hi. Okay, that was a whirlwind tour through TCVM and holistic medicine. Any questions? We can unmute everyone if we want and see if there's any questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay. I'm new to Bernese Mountain Dogs. I've had collies. I've generally had collies. So we have a 3-month-old Bernese Mountain Dog, and he has a very sensitive stomach.
We can't.
He keeps having diarrhea all the time. He's on a medicine now to kind of help bind him, and they did suggest maybe trying a beef-based dog food. Everything he's been eating has been chicken-based, and the vet suggested that because we've been having him on beef and rice. We keep cooking beef and rice for him, and he handles that very well. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I can't legally give you advice on a specific patient. And I also didn't hear everything because it cut out a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I've got a couple of messages just to you. Thanking you for the great presentation, very informative and really interesting. Just to let you know, Andrea, Dr. Carlson. I thought it was great too, and those puppies are stinking adorable.
That was my last litter.
Oh, they're cute. Well, I have a question. Do you have anything that you would recommend for someone with a dog that has Lyme disease that's in kidney failure as a result of Lyme disease? Is there something that you would recommend that they do, or holistically, or something good for that?
I can't answer that legally.
Okay.
I'm sorry. If they're specific related to it, I can't give medical advice without an established veterinary client-patient relationship. But I would say that both of the questions that were asked could definitely get a holistic vet on their team to help them. You know, and you can have a holistic vet and a conventional vet be your team of vets, and that is totally fine.
Then there was a question here. Thank you. A question here about, do you personally at your practice offer ovary spaying or other spay procedures?
We do offer ovary sparing spay, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. So we do perform ovary sparing spay. Most of the time what happens is that they get the ovary sparing spay and then they end up getting a traditional spay down the road. If you get an ovary sparing spay, the animal will still go into heat. She won't bleed as much, but she will still go into heat and have the emotional, nesting behavior, still has a lot of the behavior changes. And so what I tell people is that if we're going to do an ovary sparing spay, say you have two intact, you have a male and a female, and they're 6 months old, we don't want them breeding together, but we want to keep their ovaries intact for as long as possible. So what I would usually do is do an ovary sparing spay on the female 6, 7 months, and then usually like 2 or 3 years later, we'll go ahead and do a full spay. If you don't have 2 intact dogs, you can control that your dog is not going to get accidentally bred, then I usually just recommend keeping them intact until they're 2 to 5 years of age, and then doing the full procedure.
Great, thank you. Well, let's see, I set them so that everyone can set up the questions now, since you're available to look at the chat, but it says, I just wanted to say my dogs have benefited tremendously from herbs for liver, mind, and pain. And also my dog that couldn't walk was walking 24 hours after acupuncture. I was amazed and grateful. So that's a comment.
That is actually one of my patients. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Lynette. Any other questions that aren't specific patient related?
I think thank you so much, Dr. Carlson, for that really, really informative presentation. Just fabulous. I will do whatever I can to get, some of those sheets onto the, into the Matterhorn. And then I don't know, if your slide's probably going to be too heavy to email, maybe Dropbox. But are we going to be putting this on YouTube for people to look at later? Is that what your idea was?
Yes, we totally can. Yep.
Okay, so if
Or
I.
on our website or something, yeah, so that people.
I know that I'll have trouble emailing the recording because I know that it'll be too heavy, but I can put it on, you can link it on your website. So I'll take care of that, but should I turn the recording off then here? Stop the recording. Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, that would be great. Okay, great. Okay.